Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with the final episode of Death Note. Last time on Death Note we had 128, January 28th, the long-awaited meeting between Nier and Kira, where it basically went down, you know? Apparently it seems that everything has gone according to Light Yagami's plan. And if that is true, then Nier will die. Basically, everyone was there. The SBK, the task force, they were there. Mikami showed up, started writing everyone's name except Kira's. And yeah, we also learned Nier's real name, which is Nate River. And yeah, it basically ended on a cliffhanger. We don't know if Nier actually died. There's a part of me that because of the cliffhanger, I'm thinking that he didn't die. I'm thinking this is way too good to be true, you know? I think there is no... Well, I don't know if there's no way, but I think that it's not... I don't know if Kira has won, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, this is going to be pretty crazy. We are going into the final episode of Death Note. Isn't that nuts? Now, just before we get started here, there are a couple things that I want to say is next week we will still have some Death Note content. Although next week we will also have the beginning of the next anime show, which at time of recording this has not been decided yet. In fact, the poll for it hasn't even gone up, so that tells you when I'm recording this. But, yeah, so next week we'll be starting a new show. However, there will still be Death Note content next week. Next week I will be doing a video where I will be reacting to L's funeral, the deleted scene from Death Note. That should be pretty fun. Probably won't be a terribly long episode. But, yeah, we'll be watching that. And also next week, this is what I've been waiting for the entire time. Next week, we will also be taking a look at the Death Note movie from 2017 on Netflix, the live-action adaptation, which has become very infamous since 2017. Yes, we'll be reacting to that next week. But before we do that, we still have one more episode of Death Note to get through. So... if you want to watch my reaction to this final episode of Death Note, like all the others, you're going to have to go down in the description or to the pinned comment, where there'll be a link there that will take you to the reaction highlight, where the footage is in the corner. It's all edited nice and good. You can go, you can watch that, you can hopefully have a good time. When you're done with that, you can pop right back over here for the final Death Note series discussion. So, yeah, with that being said, we should go ahead and get right into the final episode of Death Note. Here we go. I am exhausted. Man, it was kind of sad, honestly. It was kind of sad, honestly, watching our main character die like that. Man, oh man, that was insanity. Again, can I please give full props to the guy that voices Light? That was an amazing performance. You know? That was incredible. Because he's always captured... I don't know, like, what to say. Like, maybe the pretentiousness? I don't know. Like, he's always captured, like, you know, the hate and vitriol in Light's voice, and, you know, sort of the smug, cocky, you know, I'm better than everyone. But in reality, you know, he's been just a teenager for most of the show. Then, you know, later he got older because we had the time skip and everything, but still, the voice still remained relatively the same. But yeah, And then just like everything with just watching him crumble. Watching him crumble. That was pretty good. Like, that was incredible, that performance. Man. And this is... I like that this is predicated on Mikami's failure, too. Like, that's kind of the reason why, you know? Which, it's like... It was basically... It was Nier and Mello working together, which together, the two of them can equal out to L. And then... Mikami's failure, which led to the demise of Kira. Man, oh man. New World. That's crazy. This is the only episode that has 2 words in the title. And you know, that's the thing. Last episode, when it ended on a cliffhanger, I was like, I don't think they would just cut back and, oh, well, they did all die. So, yeah. Light has lost. Nier, Mello, the task force, L, they've all won. And man, that was insanity. That was insanity. Having to watch them all realize, like, because even with Aizawa, who suspected, who was pretty confident that Light was Kira, and yet still, it must not have it kind of didn't stick with him, like it didn't set in until everything was out in the open, you know? Man, oh man, that was insane. Just the complete and utter failure, you know? And especially, too, because, you know, because Mikami did something on his own, you know? Which, that's the thing, is that, you know, Light said, don't do anything until this day, you know? That's what he said. But, since the beginning with Mikami has always done something that he thinks is right, you know? Which led to, you know, killing Demigawa and bringing in Takada, you know? That was not a part of Light's plan. It was Mikami who did that. And the failure is that Mikami did something on his own which led to Light's defeat, you know? Which, that is so interesting that at the end, after he's been shot 20,000 times by Matsuda, he calls out for Misa. He does also call out for Takada, I will grant you that, but he first calls out to Misa. Because here's the thing, Misa wouldn't have done that. Because Light was always saying, it's like, oh, well, she doesn't do anything of her own accord, you know? She has to have such specific instructions in order to do anything. It's like, yeah, and that... Honestly, so the whole thing, the reason that Light Yagami failed, lost, and died is because he didn't trust his girl. That's why. Because he was so done with Misa that he brought in Mikami, who brought in Takada. It's like everything that happened. Mikami, who does things of his own accord. He will do things of his own accord, which let everything work with. It let everything work with Nier, Giovanni, Mello, everything. All because Mikami all because Mikami did things on his own without Light's instructions. Even when Light specifically said, don't do anything until this day, he still did something. And that was enough to take down Light. And so that, honestly, it makes it very, poetic, I guess, that the first name Light calls out to is Misa. Because Misa, honestly, if it was Misa would not have failed like that, I don't think Misa would have failed like that, It's the fact that, it's because Mikami got too far into his own role, He got too far into it, and he failed, and that is why it's over. Okay. Man, that is crazy. I do kind of like that, honestly. Which also, to be fair, this is also, we're saying like, oh, this is on Mikami and everything. This is on Light, though, because he chose Mikami, Which, that's the thing. It is still like, because if you just say, well, this is all on Mikami, that does take away from the fact that this is Light's failure, Because it's Light's failure that Mikami did that on his own. Because he didn't account for that. He thought, hey, don't do anything. But, he said, don't do anything. But it wasn't enough, So, yes, while it is Mikami's failure, it is also Light's failure because he chose Mikami. Because of the 3 Kiras that he has dealt with, 2 of them he picked. Like, if we go over all the Kiras, there was Misa, the most loyal, best, servant, will carry out your orders to a T. But she doesn't do anything on her own. And Mikami, who will follow your orders, but he will do things on his own if he thinks it's best. You should have stuck with Misa. Because that's the thing. I think it's that, he tried to get rid of Misa because he's never liked Misa. From the beginning, he has never liked Misa. But at the same time, Misa was a better Kira. Or a better hand of Kira, a better second Kira than Mikami. And that is all on Light, That is all on Light. That is his failure. Holy shit. Okay, let's actually head into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is failed. Light failed. That is his failure, is Mikami. Man, that was crazy. Just that it was all out in the open, Because the entire show, Light has never been just out as Kira, Never. He's always done everything in secrecy. Whether with Misa, with Takeda, And he has failed. He has completely and utterly failed. And he lost. He's dead. Complete and utter failure. And it is sort of satisfying. It is sort of satisfying after everything, after 37 episodes of Light being on top. He's down and he's out. And honestly, there is also a part of me that's I don't know, like I don't want to say like feels bad for him, but his complete mental breakdown, it was kind of sad, honestly. It was a bit sad to watch, just this complete meltdown, you know? Of both of them, honestly. Like, that's the thing, is it is just the complete meltdown after, again, 37 episodes. 37 episodes of Light being on top. You know, sort of more or less with, obviously because there were episodes where Light wasn't Kira because he had the memory thing, and some episodes where he wasn't on top, but, overall it worked out. But anyway. Give or take a few episodes, basically. But yeah, after all of that, for him just to have a complete breakdown, our elegant, masterful Moriarty character. Like, this isn't, they say, like, it's kind of weird, when at the end it's like, oh, you're not some god, you're just a serial killer, You're just a serial killer with the most dangerous weapon in the world. And it's like, yeah, when you get down to it, he is. He's a serial killer. But after everything, because of how vast his ego was, and to just watch that ego come crumbling in. And again, props to the voice actor who was just incredible with that, Incredible. That was incredible that he was just so... He was in there, He just... I don't know, I'm losing my words now. Like I've always said, Light has the perfect voice, I feel like. Where he captures sort of the pretentious, I am a god, But it's always, you can always hear the, I guess, the child in him, The petty teenager, That's the thing. And that shines through because the petty teenager, basically, that is what shines through when he fails. Not the brilliant, mastermind, not Moriarty, but the teenager. That is what shines through when all is said and done. Oh, boy. Oh, just the insanity, Okay. I wrote down modified both, which I guess leads into the next note, which is just Mikami. Man, so that was crazy because Mikami thought that, well, Kira had his, he couldn't move freely, so he thought, well, he won't be able to kill Takeda, I'll go kill Takeda. So, he deviated from his normal routine, which Giovanni caught, and he went to the real Death Note, and, he wrote down the name. And that's the thing, is that allowed Giovanni to see, okay, this is where the real Death Note is, and they modified it. They modified that Death Note completely so that once Mikami got the Death Note and went back, went to there to kill everyone, didn't matter. That wasn't the real Death Note anymore. So it didn't work. I also like the detail because, last episode we see Mikami is going nuts, delete, all this sort of stuff. But then I do like the detail that all the names are written right at the top of the page, very small, because Mikami doesn't waste space. I like that little detail, even though he had the most crazy orgasmic, killing, Death Note killing of any we've ever seen. He still wrote those names at the top of the page because in his mind, he had to write that small because he was still going to use the rest of that page for the rest of that day, So I like that little attention to detail, that the names weren't everywhere, crazy. So, yeah. So this is on Mikami. It's also on Light for, for choosing Mikami, That's the thing. That is the mistake that led to his defeat, is choosing Mikami over Misa. Okay. And that's the thing. So, okay. So Nier always suspected another notebook, and he needed to find the real notebook. So he knew that if he put Takeda in danger, then that would lead Mikami, that would make Mikami go to the real Death Note to kill her, and then that would lead them to the Death Note. That's the thing. So, in order to do that, they did have to get Mello, and Mello, he probably hated it, but like Nier said, it's like as much as, he probably knew in his heart this was the only way that they could win, And I think that's true, because why else would Mello have done that, Why else did Mello do all this? This was part of the plan. Nier formulated this plan, passed it off to Mello. Mello was like, okay, you're right. This has to be, you came up with the plan. Now I need to take the drastic action. Again, it's both sides of L, It's the meticulous planning with Nier and the drastic actions with Mello. Both sides of L had to come together in order to take down Kira. And that's the thing is because, earlier in this particular arc, they kept going like, well, the two of them will never work together, The only reason Mello did anything earlier was because he owed a debt to Nier, for the picture. So that's the thing. But after everything that happened, after everything that happened with the dad and everything and losing a lot of his people, Mello probably knew, okay, this has to end, and the only way to do that is for me and Nier to work together, because the two of us can succeed L, That's the thing. And they do reference that, Nier says, together we can succeed where L failed, We can equal out to L, basically. So that was really cool. Because we've always said that, is that if the two of them work together, they could take down Kira, because L could take down Kira. Oh, boy. Oh. And that's the thing. I love how much of L was in this episode, Because that's the thing, when L, died, is like, okay, that's our, main, I guess, protagonist or something. I don't know. It's like, he's our main, detective. Like, okay, well, what do we do now? It's like, okay, we need Nier and Mello to finish what L started, basically. So, man, oh man, that really worked. It's insanity. So yeah, Nier and Mello together were able to be L and take down Kira, which is great. Next thing I wrote down, Matsuda. MVP Matsuda in this one. I mean, because I was also gonna say in the reaction, MVP is Giovanni. like, for going in and doing some of this shit, but I think MVP of this episode, at least, is Matsuda. Man, that was crazy, because that's the thing. He still had a piece of the Death Note, and he could try to write, you know? He could try to write, but there was no way he was going to write all those names on there. He wanted to kill Nier, you know? And Matsuda just taking out his hand. Damn. And then not only that, because this bastard would not give up, tried to finish writing the name in his own blood with his finger, and Matsuda pumping him full of bullets. Like, that is crazy, you know? Friggin' Matsuda. But it makes sense, you know? You know, as much as we sort of joke around about Matsuda and everything, Matsuda is a great character, you know? He is a good character. You know, we sometimes give him some flack, but it makes sense because, honestly, Matsuda's been here the longest of any of them, like, on the task force. You know, he was there, like, in episode 2 with Soichiro. So that's the thing. And after all that, you know, probably, you know, it's like, okay, you killed your father, someone that I look up to, you know, who was always a mentor, probably kind of a father to Matsuda, honestly, you know? And it's like, after all that, and you didn't care, it's like, and then after realizing everything about Light, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that he did shoot him. And at first I thought they were going to pull a Zhao, where it's like, you know, bang, and it's like, what, did he hit his face? And it's like, no, he hit, like, you know, to the side. I thought they were pulling a Zhao for a second, but it was that they got away. Basically, they pushed him away before he died, basically, before he killed Light. So, but man, I mean, it worked. That was crazy, man. Oh, man. And then I wrote down the agreement. Yeah, I completely forgot about that from episode 1, you know? It's like, hey, you know, when it's time for you to die, I'm going to write down your name in my Death Note, you know? That's how it has to work. So that was the agreement between Light and Ryuk. Because that's the thing, Ryuk has kind of been out of the picture for a while. Like, he's just kind of been around. Like, he doesn't really do anything, but he finally, you know, obviously he came back for this. Thank God he was in the final episode, but that makes sense. And especially, too, because the notebook is still owned by Light. That's the thing. It's still his Death Note. You know, even if he gives it to, even if he gives any of them to Mikami or anyone else, it's still within his ownership, you know? So that's the thing, is that, you know, because it's all in his ownership, he probably would never relinquish it either, you know, even if he was in jail. So Ryuk was like, all right, well, you lost, and, you know, they're going to lock you away. But if they lock you away, it's going to be fucking forever until you die. So I'm going to kill you. Because I don't want to be attached to you while you're in jail. Because, look, this is over. We're done, you know? And sure enough, he wrote Light's name in the Death Note. And it's over. It is over. And I love, too, when they say, you know, Nier takes the notebook. And then he can see Ryuk and talk to him. And that is basically confirmation to Light. It's like, okay, this isn't a trick. That is the real Death Note. You know, it's all, like, come together. It's like, yeah, it all worked, you know? So Light is dead. Light is dead. The era of Kira is over. We are now in a new world, you know? And it's interesting when he started talking about, you know, everything, like, kind of how he was a necessary evil. And, you know, you might be forgiven for thinking, you know, for kind of believing that. You know, when he says, like, oh, you know, Kira is the new law and order. Wars haven't started in 6 years and everything. It's like, well, you know, maybe. But then it's kind of like, you know, like on MHA, the hero killer. It's like, you're still a fucking murderer. We got to take you down, man. You know? It's like, even if the crime rates have dropped, you're a murderer. You're the criminal, you know? And that's the thing, you know, he goes on his last big tangent, basically, of how he is, he is God, it's his new world, that he will be the god of it and everything. And Nier just like, no, you're just a serial killer with the most dangerous weapon in the world. But that's all you are, is just a serial killer who thinks he's more important than he really is. So that's that. Light is dead. Misa, I don't know what was going on with Misa at the end. She was wearing that outfit again. I didn't understand the last time she wore that outfit, but she wore that outfit, and it looked like, for a second, it's like, she's on the edge of a building. It's like, is she gonna fucking kill herself? It's like, well, shit. But we didn't see, so I don't know. Because that's the thing, is this current Misa, isn't Kira anymore. She's not the second Kira anymore. So, she was always saying like, oh, well, we'll defeat Kira and he'll be executed and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but if she learned that it's Light, I don't know how that would affect her, but we're not going to know. We're not going to find out. I don't know. But Light is dead. And it's also interesting, too, just the level of confidence that Nier had in his plan was incredible. To the point where it's like, okay, Mikami basically kind of distracted everyone with his own, death, basically, in order to, I don't know if this was, his idea, but Light started to get away. And, they're all like, oh, we gotta go after him. And Nier's just like, this motherfucker ain't going far. It's like, he can't go too far. He can't run forever. He has too many bullets in him, It's like he's bleeding, profusely, basically. Like, probably he would have died, He probably would have died even if Ryuk didn't kill him, So I like that, too, that, like, at that point, Nier was even like, he's not going to get far. Don't worry about it. He'll stop running eventually. But, man, that is insanity. This has been such a great show. It really has. I really have enjoyed this show. Yeah, this has been a hell of a show we've been watching. Yeah. Man, if we can reminisce for a few seconds here. Man, when we started and it was fucking bonkers. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but it was fucking crazy at the beginning. Everything, fucking everything was packed into every episode. Even 4 episodes in, I was like, shit, things are going down already, From that to meeting L, to the Misa arc, which was awesome. The Misa Amane arc, which, fed into the Yotsuba arc with Higuchi, which was insane too. And then the end of that, the death of L, which was insane, that was a twist that L died, And then the time skip, we get Nier and Mello. We get all this. We get Mikami. Light's failure with Mikami. I do love, too, that it's specifically because Light had to choose someone else. Because he wanted to choose someone else. He never wanted Misa. So he chose Mikami because Mikami would do something on his own. However, him taking action on his own is exactly what caused Light to fail. I do love that. But just everything. And now it's over. Or is it? I mean, mostly, yeah. I mean, yes, for the most part, yes, we are done with Death Note. However, next week we've got 2 more videos for Death Note. The first one being L's funeral, which we will be watching, reacting to, and discussing. I kind of hope that I can just put that on YouTube. We might not do a highlight for that one. We'll see. But yeah, next week we will be watching L's funeral and talking about that. I don't imagine that it'll be a too terribly long video, though. And also, next week, we are going to be watching Death Note, the movie, the Netflix adaptation, with our boy Light Turner in Seattle, I think. But Willem Dafoe is Ryuk. I know that. Which, honestly, that was the one thing, like, after watching a lot of Death Note, it's like, you know what? Willem Dafoe is Ryuk? I could see that. But we'll have to see next week. So, yeah. That's it, guys. Next week, once again, L's funeral, the Death Note movie. We will also be starting a new reaction series next week. I'm pretty sure next week. And so, yeah, you can watch that too. We'll climb into another great anime, I'm sure. But this one is done. Another one in the books, guys. I am going to kind of miss it. I'm going to miss our crazy fucking cast, you know? But that is pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time at L's funeral. See you guys there. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to rewatch all of my Death Note reactions right from episode 1, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.